Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are level on points heading into the final race of the season after the Mercedes driver won an incredibly dramatic Saudi Arabian GP that included red flags, multiple crashes and a bizarre collision between the championship rivals amid heated tension. The 50 laps of the inaugural street race around the Jeddah circuit was absolutely chaotic and often incalculable, and arguably proved one of the most controversial opponents of the epic championship battle so far. Hamilton and Verstappen head-to-head through much of the race clashed wheel-to-wheel after two of the three race starts, and then made contact when Verstappen slowed down to try and give his rival the lead as instructed, following a questionable defence early on lap 37, only for Hamilton to run into the back of the Red Bull. Verstappen has been called to the stewards after the race and has since been given a 10-second time penalty, kind of a pointless penalty, who Hamilton called Verstappen dangerous and crazy during the race, claiming he was brake tested by the Dutchman, which the stewards found to be true. The collision damaged Hamilton's front wing, but he still came back through to let Verstappen pass, getting the last laugh of a bad-tempered evening to claim the win. That means the pair are remarkably level on points. Verstappen is ahead in the championship on the race win ratio. Verstappen was also handed a 5-second time penalty by the stewards, forcing Hamilton wide into turn 1 on lap 37, which both worsened his mood and effectively ended his race hopes, eventually just clinging on to the finish. What happened today is unbelievable, and this sport is more about penalties than racing, said Verstappen, who did not join in the podium celebrations with Hamilton and Bottas. For me, this is not F1, although Martin Brundle protested this is aggressive, determined, feisty racing, and then we saw too much of that this evening. The battle between Verstappen and Hamilton came to a head on lap 37. Hamilton closed in on Verstappen, who was struggling on medium tyres, to his longer-lasting hards and tried to move around the outside. Hamilton appeared to edge ahead, and both drivers broke late, and both ran off the track, with Verstappen keeping the lead. On the team radio, Michael Massey told Red Bull they should either give the position back or they'll be investigated by the stewards, and Red Bull gave the place back. They told Verstappen to do so strategically. Massey then told Ron Meadows that Verstappen will let Hamilton pass, although this seemed to be unbeknown to the seven-world champion, as Meadows was informing race engineer Peter Bonington just as Hamilton came up to overtake him. The Red Bull driver slowed and Hamilton crashed into the back of the car, saying he was brake tested when a driver flicks between braking and accelerating. Both Mercedes and Red Bull said that they could point to the data that would exonerate their drivers from blame from the stewards. I didn't get the information, so it was very confusing. All of a sudden he started backing up and then it was moving. Is he playing some sort of crazy tactic? All of a sudden messages started to come through that he'd been hit by the brakes, and I nearly went into the back of him. The tension between Hamilton and Verstappen battle had been rising all season, and while the collisions in Silverstone and Monza had race-ending consequences, it was fair to say that this was the most dramatic, and the animosity between the pair is the highest it's been all season. The seeds were sown in the crazy finish via the extraordinary stop-start GP. Hamilton and Bottas kept Verstappen back at the start, but a heavy Mick Schumacher crash caused a safety car in lap 10 where both Mercedes drivers pit. However, the safety car then became a red track, and Verstappen's decision not to pit gave him the lead. Upon the restart, however, Hamilton surged ahead of Verstappen before the title leader passed him around the outside and off the track illegally. So Sergio Perez and George Russell and Nikita Mazepin then crashed on the lap after, which led to another red flag. During the stoppage, Red Bull agreed with race control to drop Verstappen behind Hamilton and Ocon, but the narrative flipped again as Verstappen went from third to first, overtaking Hamilton and Ocon on the repass. Hamilton would soon overtake Ocon as well. Verstappen was holding Hamilton back, often helped by virtual safety car, which was deployed due to various conditions, including a crash for Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton's front wing end plate was broken, but he still set soaring pace. He was let through by Verstappen before momentarily losing the lead, only to take it back and surge off into the distance as Verstappen was hampered by the tyres. Hamilton finished with the fastest lap point despite the damage, and then there was the more drama as Bottas overtook Ocon on the line with a DRS-aided move. While the drivers' battle was locked, that result gives Mercedes a huge 28-point lead over Red Bull for the final race. Before I go, let me run you through the final classification of a crazy race. Hamilton, of course, winning. Yeah, for me, the best man won today. I wasn't a fan of some of Verstappen's actions, to be honest. Yes, but Verstappen coming home in second. Bottas in third. I mean, considering all the stuff he had thrown at him, I think that's a solid enough return. Probably the maximum he could do today. Ocon in fourth, absolutely gutted for him. He drove brilliant and definitely deserved that podium. Ricciardo in fifth after a disappointing qualifying. That's solid for him. Gasly in sixth. I mean, yeah, it's a good result, but AlphaTauri, they've just lost out on that battle. And then you've got Leclerc and Sainz. For Leclerc, I think he'll be disappointed, but Sainz, it's definitely a good recovery from where he was in qualifying. And then you've got Giovinazzi in ninth, which is a solid result for him and Alfa Romeo, but probably too late. Norris in 10th, yeah, just not his race today. And then you've got Stroll and Latifi finishing so close to the points after where they qualified. They'll take that. Alonso, yeah, you just didn't have the pace today. And Tsunoda and Raikkonen, of course, getting involved in those incidents. Tsunoda, he had so much pace again, and they just all slipped away. And then you got Vettel out of the race. Disappointing for him, but Aston were never achieving much. Perez, that's a huge blow for Red Bull in the constructors. I think that's over now. And then you've got Mazepin, Russell and Schumacher. Really scary moment between Russell and Mazepin. But yeah, glad to see they're okay. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, comments down below. Follow me on Twitter, link description for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.